Hi guys, welcome back to my class. I'm your Korean teacher, Emma from SEEMILE. Can you recall what you learned during the previous class? It was about how to describe the timing of certain events. As already mentioned, today's lesson will be about words used to describe specific periods or durations of time in Korean, like during, while, in the middle of, and so on. But before moving on, let's first preview the vocabulary we are going to cover during today's class. Repeat after me out loud as a memory aid. 방학, 캠핑, 취재, 혼자, 출장, 모닥불, 피우다, 휴게소, 간식, 캠핑장, 텐트, 치다, 한참, 짐, 내리다, 모두, 별, 보다, 4시간, 운전하다, 장작, 쌓다, 어두워지다, 타오르다, 이야기, 꺼지다, 지나다, 물, 붓다, 3분, 완성되다. Alright, now let's get started. The first expression is 중. Let's watch the following video and try to figure out when to use it.
아람이는 방학 중에 캠핑을 갈 거예요.
조는 취재 중이어서 혼자 갈 거예요. 로하는 출장 중이어서 캠핑에 못 가요.
아람이는 캠핑 중에 모닥불을 피울 거예요. 아람이와 히토미와 카이는 캠핑을 가는 중이에요. 아람이가 휴게소에서 간식을 먹는 중에 전화가 왔어요.
조는 캠핑장에 오는 중에 길을 잃었어요.
아람이가 텐트를 치는 중에 비가 내렸어요.
So the word 중 literally means the middle. When you use it as in 는 중에, 중이다, then it means that the subject is in the middle of doing something or in the middle of a certain situation. In other words, it is a bound noun that clarifies the time when the speaker is doing something or is in the middle of a certain situation. For example, look at this. 아람이는 방학 중에 캠핑을 갈 거예요. Aram will be in the middle of what situation? Yes, in the middle of vacation. Aram will go camping in the middle of her vacation. 아람이와 히토미와 카이는 캠핑을 가는 중이에요. Here, Aram, Hitomi, and Kai are in the middle of doing what? Yes, going camping. In the video, Kai was driving and they were literally on their way to go camping. That's why the sentence says, 캠핑을 가는 중이에요. When the period is stated in a noun form, only 중 needs to be added. But when it's in a verb form, then you need the help of 는, the transformative ending that shows that certain action is happening now. Okay, why don't we practice 중 with these sentences? Please try saying these sentences out loud in Korean by yourself first and then check your answers. Regarding this sentence, please use the connective ending 아서, 어서. As you briefly learned in the last class, 아서, 어서 can indicate not only the chronological order of actions related to one another, but also the reason or cause for the preceding clause. You'll cover this in more detail the next class. So, 조는 취재 중이어서 혼자 갈 거예요. 로하는 출장 중이어서 캠핑에 못 가요. 아람이는 캠핑 중에 모닥불을 피울 거예요. 아람이가 휴게소에서 간식을 먹는 중에 전화가 왔어요. 조는 캠핑장에 오는 중에 길을 잃었어요. 아람이가 텐트를 치는 중에 비가 내렸어요. 로하는 회의하는 중이에요. 조는 통화하는 중이에요. 카이는 히토미를 기다리는 중이에요. Some of you may be thinking, 는 중이다 is quite similar to the meaning 고 있다. And if so, you'd be right. Then how are they different from one another? Really, there's only a slight difference in nuance. The focus of the 고 있다 is on the fact that an action is in progress at the moment. As for 는 중이다, it's emphasizing that something is in the middle of being performed but hasn't ended quite yet. For example, let's go back to this sentence. 카이는 히토미를 기다리는 중이에요. It stresses the fact that Kai is in the middle of waiting for Hitomi, an action which has already started but not yet finished. On the other hand, if you just say 카이는 히토미를 기다리고 있어요, then it's just conveying the idea that Kai is waiting for Hitomi and that the action is currently in progress now. Again, it's a matter of connotation. So to fully grasp the difference between the two, you need to be exposed to many related situations and Korean sentences. At this point, however, please don't feel pressured or stressed out about it. Just use them interchangeably. Now, let me tell you about one more usage of this word, 중. At times, this 중 is also used to refer to a particular thing out of many other options. For example, 아람이는 여러 색깔 중에 초록색을 좋아해요. 여러 is like several, many in English. So here 중 is used that out of many colors. The color mentioned in the preceding word is what 아람 likes. Okay, now repeat after me out loud for practice. 아람이는 방학 중에 캠핑을 갈 거예요. 아람이와 히토미와 카이는 캠핑을 가는 중이에요. 조는 취재 중이어서 혼자 갈 거예요. 로하는 출장 중이어서 캠핑에 못 가요. 아람이는 캠핑 중에 모닥불을 피울 거예요. 아람이가 휴게소에서 간식을 먹는 중에 전화가 왔어요. 조는 캠핑장에 오는 중에 길을 잃었어요. 아람이가 텐트를 치는 중에 비가 내렸어요. 로하는 회의하는 중이에요. 조는 통화하는 중이에요. 카이는 히토미를 기다리는 중이에요. 아람이는 여러 색깔 중에 초록색을 좋아해요. The next expression related to a duration or period is 동안. The word 동안 itself indicates the duration of an action. It's like saying during or while in English. First, let's see the video where it's put to use in a real setting.
아람이는 잠시 동안 차에 있었어요.
카이는 한참 동안 짐을 내렸어요.
모두들 잠깐 동안 별을 봤어요. 조는 4시간 동안 운전을 했어요.
카이가 요리하는 동안 히토미가 장작을 쌓았어요.
밥을 먹는 동안 어두워졌어요.
모닥불이 타오르는 동안 이야기를 나눴어요. 이야기를 나누는 동안 모닥불이 꺼졌어요.
Look at this sentence. 아람이는 잠시 동안 차에 있었어요. Here 잠시 refer to a short period of time. So 잠시 동안, for a short while that short time continues, 아람 remained in the car. 카이가 요리하는 동안 히토미가 장작을 쌓았어요. When was Hitomi piling up firewood? While Kai was continuing to cook. Yes, 동안 is an expression used to indicate that something mentioned in the following clause is done during the entire time that the action or a state already mentioned continues. So unlike 중, which can be used just to simply describe that the subject is doing something or in a certain situation, when you use 동안, whatever was described in the preceding statement should follow the event mentioned in the first clause. For example, you can say 카이가 요리하는 중이에요. Kai is in the middle of cooking, but to indicate that Kai is cooking now, you can't say 카이가 요리하는 동안이에요. If you're going to use 동안이에요, then a description of what's happening while he's cooking needs to follow that phrase, as in 카이가 요리하는 동안 히토미가 장작을 쌓았어요. So when a noun and a duration phrase are used together, you need to add only 동안, but when it's in a verb form, just as you did with 중, you need to use 는, the transformative ending that shows that the event mentioned in the preceding statement is happening right now. So now, keeping that in mind, again, please pause the video for a moment and practice. Say these sentences out loud in Korean first, and then replay the video and check your answers. 카이는 한참 동안 짐을 내렸어요. 모두들 잠시 동안 별을 봤어요. Here, you also can use the word 잠깐 to refer to a moment. It's almost similar to 잠시, so 모두들 잠깐 동안 별을 봤어요. 조는 4시간 동안 운전을 했어요. 밥을 먹는 동안 어두워졌어요. 모닥불이 타오르는 동안 이야기를 나눴어요. 이야기를 나누는 동안 모닥불이 꺼졌어요. Good job, guys. Now let's say them out again as a review. Repeat after me. 아람이는 잠시 동안 차에 있었어요. 카이가 요리하는 동안 히토미가 장작을 쌓았어요. 카이는 한참 동안 짐을 내렸어요. 모두들 잠깐 동안 별을 봤어요. 조는 4시간 동안 운전을 했어요. 밥을 먹는 동안 어두워졌어요. 모닥불이 타오르는 동안 이야기를 나눴어요. 이야기를 나누는 동안 모닥불이 꺼졌어요. The last expression for today is 은지. This one is also related to duration and time period. Watching the following video, please notice what the sentences have in common.
조는 출발한 지 4시간 지나서 도착했어요.
아람이는 잠든 지 6시간 후에 일어났어요.
물을 부은 지 3분 만에 라면이 완성되었어요.
아람이는 출발한 지 2시간 후에 휴게소에 도착했어요.
Have you figured out what they have in common? Notice which words follow 은지. 4시간, 6시간, 3분, 2시간. They are all related to duration, how long something took. Did you get the sense of how 은지 is used? Yes, it's used to show how long it took for a certain action to be completed or how much time has elapsed since a specific action occurred. For example, look at this. How long was it since John departed? Yes, 4시간, 4 hours passed before he arrived at his destination. 4시간 지나서 도착했어요. How long has it been since Aram fell asleep? Yes, 6시간, 6 hours, and after those 6 hours, she woke up. How long was it since Aram departed? Yes, 2시간, 2 hours. And then she arrived at the rest area. 휴게소에 도착했어요. How long was it since Kai poured in the water? Yes, 3분, 3 minutes. For your reference, here the noun 만 means within the specific time. So if you say something like 3분 만에, it means within 3 minutes. So in other words, after pouring in the water, within 3 minutes, 라면이 완성되었어요. The instant noodles were ready. Wait a moment. Isn't to pour in Korean is 붓다, not 부다? Is this another case of an irregular conjugation? Yes, that's right. We call it the 시옷 irregular phenomenon. This happens to some verbs or adjectives whose stem end in 시옷. When they are followed by an ending that starts with a vowel, then the final consonant 시옷 gets omitted. And that's how the irregular conjugation happens. That's why 붓 of 붓다 became 부 before being combined with the expression 은지, which starts with a vowel. Another example is 젓다, which means to stir. How would you say I stirred water with chopsticks? 물을 젓가락으로 저었어요. Because for the 젓 of 젓다 to combine with the ending 어어요, which starts with a vowel, the final consonant 시옷 needs to be erased. For more examples, please refer to page 221. There you will notice that this phenomenon doesn't apply to all the verbs and adjectives ending in 시옷. Think of this word, 웃다. When you want to say Hitomi smiled, it should be 히토미가 웃었어요, not 우었어요. That's why we call it an irregular conjugation. Again, please don't get nervous. Just add to your repertoire the 시옷 irregular words in the example one by one as you come across them, and that's enough. You don't need to feel pressure to memorize all of them right now. Now, let's get back to the usage of 은지. As you may have already noticed, when a stem ends in a consonant other than 리을, we need to add 은지, whereas when it ends in a vowel or the consonant 리을, we would add 니은지. Alright, then let me help you practice these sentences one more time. Please say them out loud in Korean. 조는 출발한 지 4시간 지나서 도착했어요. 아람이는 잠든 지 6시간 후에 일어났어요. 아람이는 출발한 지 2시간 후에 휴게소에 도착했어요. 물을 부은 지 3분 만에 라면이 완성됐어요. Good job. Now please repeat after me out loud. 조는 출발한 지 4시간 지나서 도착했어요. 아람이는 잠든 지 6시간 후에 일어났어요. 아람이는 출발한 지 2시간 후에 휴게소에 도착했어요. 물을 부은 지 3분 만에 라면이 완성됐어요. One more time. What's the difference between 중, 동안, and 은지, which we covered during today's class? 중 is used to indicate that the subject is in the middle of the time period expressed in the preceding words. 동안, it is used to express that something indicated in the following clause is happening during the period mentioned in the preceding statement. And 은지, it is to show how long the period has lasted. Alright, now keeping that in mind, let's go on to page 225 and solve the questions there. Number 1. Choose the right picture. 조는 캠핑장에 오는 중에 길을 잃었어요. John got lost. When? 캠핑장에 오는 중에. In the middle of coming to the campsite. In other words, on his way to the campsite. So picture number 2 best describes the sentence. Next, 아람이는 잠든 지 6시간 후에 일어났어요. When did Aram woke up? After 6 hours has passed since she fell asleep. Picture number 2 looks like it's describing that Aram went bed at 3 and is now waking up at 9. So that would be the right answer. Now question number 2. Complete the sentence. Choose from the list. Number 1. 모두들 잠깐 별을 봤어요. 잠깐 means a short period of time, so this means that they all watched stars for a short while. The word to refer to the duration during which an event is happening is 동안. 잠깐 is a noun, so only 동안 can be added. 모두들 잠깐 동안 별을 봤어요. Number 2. 조는 4시간 운전을 했어요. How would you explain in Korean that John drove for 4 hours? He drove during the entire 4 hours, so 동안 is the most appropriate choice. So we can say 조는 4시간 동안 운전을 했어요. Number 3. 아람이가 텐트를 치에 비가 내렸어요. 치 is the stem of the verb 치다, and 텐트를 치다 means to pitch a tent. The following statement is not about how long something happened, but what happened during the period mentioned in the preceding clause, so 는 중 or 는 동안 would be the answer. 아람이가 텐트를 치는 중에 비가 내렸어요. It takes some time to pitch a tent, and in the middle of doing that, at some point it rained. 아람이가 텐트를 치는 동안에 비가 내렸어요. If you say it this way, then it would mean that it continued to rain while 아람 was pitching a tent. Number 4. 아람이는 2시간 후에 휴게소에 도착했어요. 출발하다 is a verb and 2시간 후 shows how long has passed since Aram departed. So 은지 is the best option to fill in the blank. 아람이는 출발한 지 2시간 후에 휴게소에 도착했어요. Number 5. 친구들은 모닥불이 이야기를 나눴어요. 타오르다 is a verb and the following clause 이야기를 나누다 isn't about how much time has passed. So we can't use 은지, but rather 는 중 or 는 동안 are the more appropriate options. 친구들은 모닥불이 타오르는 동안 이야기를 나눴어요. They chatted while the campfire was burning. 친구들은 모닥불이 타오르는 중에 이야기를 나눴어요. They chatted while the campfire was blazing. Number 6. 아람이는 캠핑에 모닥불을 피울 거예요. Camping is a noun, so only 중 or 동안 can be used. Neither are wrong, but if you say 아람이는 캠핑 동안에 모닥불을 피울 거예요, it may sound as 아람 will build a campfire the entire time she's at the campsite. But if you say 아람이는 캠핑 중에 모닥불을 피울 거예요, then it means that 아람 will build campfire at some point while camping. Number 7. 이야기를 모닥불이 꺼졌어요. 나누다 is a verb and 모닥불이 꺼졌어요 isn't about how much time has passed. So 는 중 or 는 동안 can be appropriate options. 이야기를 나누는 중 모닥불이 꺼졌어요. While they were chatting, at some point the campfire went out. 이야기를 나누는 동안 모닥불이 꺼졌어요. This is more like saying, while they were chatting, the fire was gradually getting weaker and finally went out. Number 8. 조는 취재, 이어서 혼자 갈 거예요. The preceding clause, 혼자 갈 거예요, shows the result of the fact that John is currently doing 취재. It's not what he's going to do while doing 취재, so 동안 can't be used here. So 중 is the only correct answer. 조는 취재 중이어서 혼자 갈 거예요. Guys, let me tell you what happened to me yesterday while I was working. 업무 중에 배가 고파졌어요. 점심을 먹은 지 1시간밖에 안 지났는데 벌써 배가 고팠어요. 업무를 하는 동안 집중하지 못했어요. 편의점에 가서 과자를 사서 먹었어요. What about you? How do you usually feel about or what do you usually do while studying at school, working, watching television, or so on? Please share your story using 중, 동안, and 은지 as many times as possible. Please feel free to use a dictionary if needed and don't limit yourself to words that you've already learned. If you're uncertain about your accuracy, please leave your stories below in the comment section. Excellent! From lesson 28 on, you've learned quite a lot of expressions about timing. Now you can describe the specific time something happens. Our next lesson, though, will be about something different. In lesson 31, you'll practice how to explain in Korean the reasons for certain actions or situations. Wow, the 30th lesson is about to be over. You've been doing a fantastic job so far. Let's keep it up. Bye!